Sheriff Jerry Demings is accompanied by ATF Supervisor Agent Tim Gunning, FDLE SAC Danny Banks, FBI SSA Justin Crenshaw. Sheriff Demings.
Thank you, Captain Nieves, and thank you for being here. There's been quite a bit going on since our initial briefing this morning, and we wanted to come back this afternoon and give you as much information as we possibly can at this time. The detectives and our crime scene investigators have been interviewing witnesses and reviewing the crime scene itself. In addition, they have been working with the medical examiner on identifying the victims involved in this situation. I want to remind you that in shootings that involve multiple victims, about 75% of the time the incident is over within 5 minutes or less. In the remaining number, about 50% or half of the time, the shooting incidents are over within 2 minutes. The response time for Orange County Deputy Sheriffs once dispatched was a little over 2 minutes in this case, and so everything went fairly quickly. What I'm going to do at this time is identify the victims in this case. However, because of this extensive crime scene that we're processing, I will not be able to identify all 5 of the victims in this case. They're still working to positively identify 2 of them. But the 3 victims that I am going to identify, again, our hearts and our prayers go out to the families of these victims. Those families have already been notified. We've been working through the reunification process as this event has unfolded today. The first individual that I will identify as a victim in this case is Robert Snyder, S-N-Y-D-E-R, a white male. His birth date is April 27th of 1948. The second victim that I will identify is a woman, Brenda, I'm going to spell her last name, Montanez, M-O-T-A-N-E-Z, hyphenated, Crespo, C-R-E-S-P-O, white female, birth date of 5/23 of 73. And the third victim in this case is Kevin Clark, white male, July 28th of 1963. The victims in this case range in age from their early 30s to 65 years old. As soon as we are able to identify the 2 remaining victims, we will release that information to you. The subject in this case has been identified as John Robert Newman, and he spells his last name N-E-U-M-A-N-N, John Robert Newman Jr., date of birth May 20th, 1972. All of the indications that we have at this time, this individual lives alone, has no family here in the area. We are trying to understand as much about him as we possibly can. What I can tell you is that our records indicate that he is a veteran of the U.S. Army, discharged honorably back in 1999. We're trying to understand other issues about him as this investigation moves forward. Also want to recognize Full Sail University. They have been working with our staff, our grief counselors, our chaplains, and our victims advocates this morning, working with the families as we are trying to reunify them with loved ones. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for any questions that you may have.
Sheriff, was there any sort of interaction between the suspect and deputies when you guys first arrived on scene, or was he already deceased by the time deputies arrived?
All indications are from eyewitness testimony that it appears that just before the deputies entered to the scene itself as an active shooter scene, that the subject likely killed himself shot himself at that point. There's different things about the crime scene that leads us to that belief at this point.
Does there seem to be a specific target, or was he just going about shooting people at random inside this business?
In terms of his total motive for shooting the specific individuals involved, we have information that at least one of them he had a negative relationship with, but he was certainly singling out the individuals that he shot. It appears that one of the individuals he encountered, a young woman who was a temporary employee, had just shown up for work, that he pointed a firearm at her and told her to get out of the business. There are also indications that the subject reloaded his firearm at least once during the shooting spree this morning.
What kind of firearm did he have? Is there an internal video system that you've been able to review and collect what happened?
The subject had a handgun. Again, it's being processed there at the scene. He also had a fairly large hunting knife on his person and may have had a couple of other smaller knives as well. We are processing the crime scene at this point. The gun had not been moved. Once the